Well, that was different. We'll get into it right after this.
Hard, play hard, grind hard, stay hard. No, we stay out, make your way out. But I just can't stop, won't stop hustling. But I just
Search Party Season 5 is amongst us once again. The old gang is all back. You got Dory, you got Drew, you got Portia, and you got Elliot. And you got that crazy ass Chantel running around as well. Listen, I didn't even know this was coming back on. I just happened to be wondering, like, it's been a while. I wonder when Search Party coming back on. And lo and behold, I look and I see it comes on this weekend, and I'm like, oh man, that's dope. I gotta watch it. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch a few episodes. A few episodes turned into me just watching the whole thing right then and there in one sitting. Yeah, I had that much time on my hands. But anyway, I didn't know where they were gonna go, what direction we're gonna go. Like I said, I didn't know. I didn't see any previews. I didn't watch anything. So I had no idea. I went into this blind. As I recall, last season, Dory was in the back of an ambulance. She was trapped in that house where old boy tried to burn her up. And they didn't bring him up at all. I noticed that season. Like, it was no retribution for that. It was kind of one of those things where, she got away, so it didn't matter. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to come back into the fold or the fray, but they never spoke on that again. But now Dory is, after having this near-death experience, she is enlightened, and she wants to share this enlightenment with everyone. And of course, her narcissistic friends call her narcissistic and think she's just mentally unstable. So they do what any good friend would do and admit her to a psych ward. Uh, in there, in true Dory fashion, in her new enlightenment, she decides to manipulate the whole facility and the guards. She even goes as far as poisoning one to escape. Upon escaping, we see, and listen, there is spoilers. I'm sorry, I didn't give a spoiler warning. There is spoilers, but I figured if you're watching the damn review, you should have watched the show. I'll put it in the title just in case. People are dumb. But anyway, she winds up escaping, and just a bunch of batshit crazy shit that goes on in between. I mean, you get a throuple, or I don't know what it's called, between Dory and Drew, and then Dory and Portia, and she's just playing both sides, but at the same time, I think she was truly enlightened. I think the near death experience made her truly enlightened. But Dory doesn't understand Dory is Dory's own worst enemy. Like, she literally can single-handedly fuck up anything that she put her mind or comes in contact with. And the best thing for her friends was staying the fuck away from her. We see Elliot is going hot and heavy with his BU from the last couple of seasons. They decide to move in together and adopt a child, which is super expensive, $400,000. And he winds up being a kid from hell, just super psycho. Seems super polite and kind, but at the meat and bones of it, he got something going on up in his mind. We see Portia is teaching acting classes now, but she's bordering on the line of being an alcoholic, just from all the trauma that's been caused from the few years from Dory. So they're actually flourishing in their lives without Dory. But Dory seems to find him. Drew winds up working for some kind of company where I believe they're repossessing people's houses or something like that. I'm not too sure. They don't really go into detail exactly what he does. But Dory winds up getting out and finding them, and they're actually scared of Dory because you got to think Dory got bodies. Yeah, Dory put that work in, so they're actually quite a bit scared of Dory, and she winds up taking them out to dinner, and Dory, just being Dory, she winds up winning them over. They wind up meeting who, to me, was one of my favorite characters of the season, Jeff Goldblum, who plays a character named, what was his name again? Damn, I said I was going to freestyle this to remember. He had a cool-ass name, too. But he plays himself pretty much. Just what Jeff Goldblum plays in every character he plays now. But he played a dope character, a high-end tech engineer who's a billionaire, and he's invested in Dory. They actually have opposing views, and that's just his stance. I think just for his following, he has to be the yin to her yang, but he actually is kind of enamored by her. That we find out, and he wants to find a way to put enlightenment into a pill. And I'm thinking like, why don't they just do some Percocets or something? Like that's enlightenment in the pill. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs. But anyway, we come to find out it's all a big scam. But before we could do that, his guinea pigs are pretty much these reality or viral stars from different backgrounds. You know, you got a scientist, you got one that's a cosplay, and you got this person that does this and this. So you bring these group of characters in, and I thought these characters played well as background characters. I thought they were very funny. They brought just a different dynamic. The original crew, and I didn't touch on it, is just from years of working together. They're dynamic. Even when I think they're not trying to be funny, it's just hilarious. Like, it's just the shit they say is just like, what? How do you think of that? Like, Elliot's like, oh my god, yeah, MIT. That's one of the fake schools I thought about when I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not relatable, dude. Like, you're talking about a fake school, and this lady's talking about like, it's crazy. It was some things that I didn't get. When the scientist guy injects whatever the serum is into the mouse, and the mouse dies but comes back to life. They didn't really expand on where the hell the mouse went, but I get what it was now. The mouse, why he came back to life. He came back to life as something else. So we got to see that. Anyway, moving along, and I ain't gonna spoil it just yet, but moving along, we see that this obsession with Dory from these group of individuals causes them to give the extreme example of their undying loyalty to Dory, and they wind up disfiguring their faces in different color formations. We see Drew does some digging and see that Dory actually caused one of the doctors at the asylum to commit suicide because she was in there manipulating everybody, and she just had a hold on everybody. And also we see that Drew kind of not with the shit. He doesn't believe her. So he comes back and confront her with this knowledge. At the same time, the mouse who got loose winds up biting one of the scientists that were there. And it's just, everything just goes to shit. And we also find out that Goldblum's character doesn't necessarily think that they could come up with this enlightenment pill. He's actually using jelly beans. And Elliot's in his self-absorbed mission to kind of get rid of his kid, because he doesn't want his kid anymore because his kid's psycho. Like, his kid was walking up the stairs with a toaster plugged in, and I thought he was about to kill old boy. And that wasn't the case, but it was scary. I'm like, oh, this is how he gonna go out, because I knew he was gonna get knocked off. I just knew it. Like, that's the only reason they brought him back. But I'm like, all right, this is how he goes. And sure enough, it didn't happen right then and there. But I was just like, what the hell is this kid on? He's like, I gotta show you something. And he wanted to show him some toast. I'm like, all right, that's weird. We also see that everything go haywire. One of the personalities that's in the house is actually from royalty, and her mom and her aunt and whoever comes to see her. And they never really discuss what happened to her, unless I missed that when the bus brought up. Did they actually really die, those people? Or did they get away? Because I could have, or was they not on the bus? I don't even remember if they was on the bus or not, if they got let go. Actually, I think they got let go because Drew got let go, now that I think about it. I did miss that part. I walked away from that part. We see that Dory has kidnapped, like, not but tied up Drew and the royalty and some guy that helped out the camera guy who they would not name, and I guess it was all part of an elaborate plan. So once they escape, they go to stay at some hippies that Dory met along her travels back into the city. Now let's go about the Chantel. Chantel is hanging out with, I believe, was that Kathy Griffin? Me and my girl were arguing. She was like, "That was Kathy Griffin." I'm like, "Dude, Kathy Griffin don't look like that." Like, was that Kathy Griffin? I don't know, but she's hanging out with some older crazy lady, and come to find out, maybe the lady wasn't so crazy, but she's got her doing all kinds of stuff. She was confronting a young man who is supposed to be her husband in the future, who actually is ruining her. But she's confronting him in present day, and that shit was hilarious in the fucking scene. And she's like, "I got a gun in here. Just shoot him now and get it over." She's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." I'm like, "Yeah." Then he walk away, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on with that?" He's like, "You tell me, young man." I'm like, "Oh, this shit is hilarious right here." We also see once everything hits the fan, they kind of fake the bus blowing up and they escape in the store. They go back to the hippies and they take these enlightenment pills, which Elliot swapped out, which actually are turning people into zombies. So one of the chosen few took a real pill. He's turned into a zombie. We also see that the mouse that bit the doctor originally, she turned into a zombie, which is weird because why did she commit suicide and the other zombies decided to eat people? So I didn't get that part. That's one thing I didn't get. She committed suicide and the other zombies decided to just eat people. Zombies, yes, you heard that right. There's zombies in Search Party season 5. Yep, yeah, I couldn't believe it my damn self. That's where we're at with it. In a complete 160, and I was just like, "Is this real? Like, is this happening right now?" Like, and sure enough, this is like a real thing. I'm like, at some point, I thought it was just gonna be a dream. They was gonna wake up, but nope. Throughout the show, it turns into The Walking Dead. Yep, that's it. Search Party is now a sci-fi thriller satire series now. Yep, they're zombies. I mean, they took those pills as one of the people were turning into zombies. The hippie couple got killed. They turned into zombies. And right as then and there, the FBI decides to come in and they swoop in and kill them. They can't find the hippie couple. As they're driving, the hippie couple happens to be on a roof. The car behind them happens to not see them. I'm like, how do you? I don't know. It was a lot of flaws with this season, but you got to watch it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? I believe for the first and second seasons were the best season. Uh, third and fourth were just kind of, whatever. But here we are again. So I don't know. At the end of it all, obviously our heroes wind up staying. They wind up alerting Dory and Drew that the pills are turning into zombies, but by then it's too late. Dory's just throwing them out like pancakes, and Dory's narcissistic ass is once again responsible for the downfall and destruction of a friendship, and they continue to be friends with her. Not even only that, why she's fucking Portia and Drew, and then all of a sudden Elliot wants to get on the action. They still go along with that. Why she's playing both sides? It's just Dory's just a fucking mess, man. But the character, I will say, the who plays her does an amazing job because it's hard to hate her because she's still charismatic as well on the screen. But anyway, heroes wind up surviving. Elliot's husband or boyfriend winds up getting the axe. The little boy winds up getting the axe. And we see at the end, Chantel saves them from sudden death. She has an underground bunker, which Kathy Griffin's character, I guess, wasn't really lying at all. She told the truth. Kathy Griffin's character wound up biting the dust. She had termites and dust mites and lice and all kinds of shit. And we see fast forward some years later, as the road reopens, Portia's doing Broadway. Elliot is, I forget what he's doing. He might be a designer or something, thinking of moving to L.A., and Drew and Dory actually wind up getting married, and they're living in some contained area of New York where they gotta kind of scan in, and that's it. It's a wrap. So we see at the end, Dory's looking at all the missing people, and I guess she get the idea maybe that she could start searching for these people, and hence there might be a 6th season. But then again, I don't think so because they didn't just end it. Because right now, we talking about zombies here. I don't know, man. Yo, I was saying, is this true? I'm like, is this real? It's like, we doing this? We're doing The Walking Dead now? All right. I don't know what to say. I thought it was funny. At a certain point, I just stopped taking the show serious. I was all right. Yeah, they just fucking with us now. Uh, out of 5 mics, I get us a 3. I get us 3 mics out of 5. It wasn't no far, by far the best, but it was okay. It was entertaining to watch. I'm still waiting for Ozarks, and we know Power coming back on this weekend. So let's get ready. We getting lit. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As always, peace, love, and prosperity. I am the Black Abstract One.